The story of this discovery is actually quite interesting, and it goes back to the late 1970s. And in that time, quite a famous paleontologist in his own right, James Kitching, from the BPI in Johannesburg, actually discovered in a excavation that they're making to build a new road through this, what would become a national park. And so this person collected these samples, brought them back to the museum at the University of the Witwatersrand, and then in about 2005, 2006, my principal collaborator, Robert Rice, came through, and that's when the first realization that not only were these baby dinosaurs, but actually embryonic dinosaurs within the dinosaur eggs. Robert realized this, kind of started a cascade effect, and we went back to the site, and once we had a good idea of what we were looking at, the eggshell is incredibly thin. We're talking microns thin, and so it's not easy to identify, but once you kind of get your eye to it, you can actually see it in the rock outcrop. And like I said, this original discovery was found in a road cut. It was actually in a cliff face, and so it's not the most obvious place to be looking for fossils. But once we kind of got our eye tuned to it, we found the location where those original nests were actually collected in the late 1970s. We couldn't pinpoint the exact site, but what we ended up finding in the course of about 4 or 5 years were over 10 nests, and in certain cases, many eggs in individual nests at different levels. And that's really the key to the significance of this find, is that one, there's multiple nests, but two, they're at multiple levels, and at those levels there are multiple nests in the same horizon. And what this tells us is that these animals were actually practicing some sort of behavior that we only see much later in the fossil record, such behaviors as kind of nest site fidelity, returning to the same area time after time in the geologic or stratigraphic record to nest at the same place. And not only were they doing this through time, they were doing this gregariously. They're doing this in groups. And these nest sites, we'll in some cases find 2 or 3 or 4 nests at the same level, meaning that they nested and lived at the same time in a gregarious fashion. For me, it's exciting, and the folks that I work with and collaborate with. I mean, the thing is discoveries like this just don't come along very often, so it's really nice to be a part of such an interesting discovery and research.